You know, I've seen enough goth girls and thirst traps and just whatever kind of suggestive content and clip I end up putting here.
21 bullets inside of this clip and I'm ready to unload this bitch.
I've seen enough of that recently to kind of like think about this and kind of like get to the point that I wanted to make a video sort of discussing this topic, just the general over-sexualization of like content just in general. Like it's bound to happen, you know. It's like the age-old saying, sex sells, and it does. Like pretty much any which thing that exists. Like I mean hell, like I hate to make myself an example, but look at my channel, dude. Look at like half of my thumbnails. Sure, I try and make them actually relate to the content I'm putting out there, but like it simply is just a matter of fact. Like things just work out that way. And I did want to talk about this because just really sitting there and thinking about it, you know, you scroll through your feed and you can encounter these things. It's kind of unavoidable at a certain point. And it really made me think that I did want to talk about this subject, but also, of course, I want to return to like the roots of this channel, which is story times. So I have a story that kind of covers this. So I did want to talk about that because this intro is getting super long. So yeah, let's get to the story. So this story time takes place like back when I was in my first year of high school. As I've mentioned before, first year of high school, I was kind of at a different school, away from like my designated one and away from all of my close friends. To not sugarcoat it, I was kind of like a loner, you know. I didn't really have much going for like friends. Like I had people I'd hang out with in certain classes, but I didn't have any really close friends or any like social groups or anything that I was really a part of. I kind of just like largely did my own thing. I'd show up, do whatever, and I'd go home. And you know, I was just one of those kids that was kind of just like there to do his thing. I wasn't a big part of like the school life, if that makes sense. Anyways, around this time, I've also vaguely touched on the fact that I did have like a different version of this channel back in those days. It is now gone, unfortunately, as much as I wish I could recover some of that content. And it's not really important. What is important is that that word of that did kind of get around, that like I was doing that, and that ultimately led to its the foreclosure, I suppose. But we can talk about that a different day. What I'm getting at is I kind of was like, some people knew about that and knew that I was like doing things like that. But also I was in a film class where I like basically I'd kind of just disregard my assignments and make whatever I wanted to make. But my teacher was chill as fuck, and he'd kind of just like let me. He'd kind of walk over and be like, "What are you doing?" And I'd explain it to him, and he'd be like, "Oh, okay, yeah, that's kind of cool. Like maybe try and like get a little bit of the assignment in there, but like yeah, do your thing, man." He was really chill. And I'd made like a good couple of projects that were like shown at like school things and whatnot. So, you know, like, I guess what I'm getting at is I was kind of well known for like making things. So what stemmed from that is there's these two girls, and they were seniors, right? So they were like last year, I was in first year. And I don't really remember how I met them. They might have known my brother. I don't really remember. Anyways, they ended up coming to me because they were big into like TikTok, and they wanted to be on TikTok. They wanted to be big on TikTok. They wanted to be viral. And they ended up like encountering me one day just because of everything that was like known about me around the school. Like I make it sound like I was some sort of like celebrity at the school. I really wasn't. Like people, like if my name was brought up, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, like that's the kid who did that one thing," right? Like I wasn't like big, but because of what these girls were like into, they kind of like realized like, "Oh, this kid might know what he's doing." And like long story short, what ended up happening is they ended up making a deal with me where they'd pay me money to like film and edit TikToks for them, so that they could like be TikTokers, I guess. And it got to a point, as it does, where, you know, I certainly understand this now that I've made this channel. You know, you start posting and it's all fun and games until you realize like, yeah, this is doing really nothing. Like this is doing no views. Like as I'm recording this now, it's entirely possible that as soon as this goes up, it's gonna get like no views. And that's kind of where they went with that. Like, you know, that's kind of how it happens. They didn't get quite what they were hoping for views. So because of that, they tried to, you know, appeal to the masses a little bit more in the way that is very on subject for this video. And it kind of got to the point where they'd basically just be filming these TikToks in like bikinis. They'd be like having them under like hoodies and sweatpants that they'd come to school like in, and then like at lunch or on a break time they'd you know just kind of unmask, so to speak, and then do the TikToks, which my unfortunate ass would have to film. I guess I say have to, but I was getting paid for it, which is kind of neat. Anyway, so there was a specific spot that we usually filmed these because there weren't like there was barely ever any people there. Like obviously it's a school, so there's gonna be people in most places. Like the bathrooms is like too obvious, especially for like what they were trying to do. It was a little bit like more risque, you know. There was a risk factor involved. So their like place where we'd always go to film these, there was this computer lab. It was on the main floor, and it was like it was like a smaller one, right? And it was kind of tucked away, and it was small enough that it didn't really make sense for most classes to use because there wasn't like a computer in there for every kid, and it just never really made sense to take a class there for like computer time, you know. So that didn't really happen much, and there was like a door out to the hallway. It was a pretty small room, but there was also like it was like one of those like movable wall curtain things that leads into the library. And basically nobody used this room is what I'm getting at. So this is where these videos would always be filmed. And, you know, we did this time and time again, and I'd get my money, and I would kind of just say nothing, just be part of the operation. I'd get my money after filming it. I'd edit a video for them. I'd, you know, give it to them when I saw them at school, and they do their thing. I don't remember what their TikTok was called. I don't even know if I ever knew, in all honesty. I probably did. I don't remember what it is now. I don't know if it's still up. So yeah, after a little bit of this going on, as I said, it kind of got to a point where they weren't getting the views they wanted, so they ended up being a little bit more risque to hopefully like get that virality, you know, as it happens. And one day, like just before we were about to film whatever this TikTok was going to be, they were like talking about like, we got to do something like really cool for a TikTok, you know, like something really different and like something that's like really big. And one of the girls, like as a joke, was like, what if we just like streaked around the school? And, you know, they laugh about it, and I'm kind of just sitting there being my, like, emo fucking self in my black hoodie. Probably had my hood up, probably had an earbud in, listening to fucking Starset or Hollywood Undead, you know, as I did as a 15-year-old, you know, just dissociating from everything. So basically, we start filming this video. I don't remember what the hell it was. And as we're filming it, there's walking, like we hear footsteps around from like the library and the hallway, and that's par for the course, you know. That does happen very often, or did happen very often when we were doing these things. Except they were getting like a bit louder than they usually were. And before we had the time to even really process, like, hey, those are a bit louder, we heard the door, and the door opens to the computer lab, and in walks a teacher. And everyone freezes, or at least I freeze, and the girls freeze for a second. And the teacher kind of like analyzes the situation. There's me, and I'm like filming, right? And there's these two girls that are like basically unclothed. And we're all frozen for a second until the teacher's kind of like, what the hell is going on here? And the two girls just like book it, right? Because I'm filming on their phone. I have like a tripod, and like the one girl swipes the phone off the tripod, and they just like take off. Like, because the teacher's blocking the door, so they take off and they kind of move the movable wall thing and basically just like take off through the library. And I noticed in that second that the teacher is not even necessarily a teacher. It's guidance counselor, and it's my guidance counselor. And she's like, what are you doing in here? Like, what is going on here? And I can't even like form a sentence at this point. So I'm like, what do I even say? She's like, you know what? Like, you go up to my office. Like, you know where it is. I know you know where it is. You go there. You better be there. I need to deal with this. You go up there. So she like runs off basically after the girls, and I grab my shit, I grab my backpack, and I go up to her office, and I'm just thinking like, oh shit, like I'm so fucked, like it's beyond over. And so I just kind of sat in her office. This whole incident was unfolding. As I came to learn later from people in my classes, like this was like a whole fucking thing, pretty much. Like, these girls were, I don't know what did happen and what didn't happen, but like the rumor mill was that these girls like basically like ran around the school. They made a point out of it. Looked like the one girl was filming, and they disrobed a little bit more, and maybe didn't. I don't know what actually happened, but basically the rumor was, like, to not sugarcoat it, the rumor was that by the end they were fully naked and they just ran out of the school, and they were done. I don't know if that actually happened. I'm gonna assume it didn't, because there was a bunch of wild rumors at this school that were barely ever true. Anyways, it was like a whole thing, right? It was like pandemonium in these hallways. So eventually, my guidance counselor comes back to her office where I am, and she's got the principal with her. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm so fucked. And the principal kind of just sits down. He's like, so, busy afternoon for you, huh? And I'm like, well, like, I guess. He's like, what were you doing in there, man? Like, Like, what's going on? Like, what could you possibly have been up to in there? Like, what were you, like, you were filming something? Like, what's going on? And I kind of I kind of just like didn't say much. Just like, like I'm just kind of hanging out. I didn't really know what was going on. He's like, hey, like, I know that's not true. Like, well, what? Like, what are you gonna tell? You didn't know what was going on. There's two girls dressed like that in front of you. I'm like, honestly, man, like, I don't really know. Like, I was kind of just there. I don't really know what it was about. I was just in there. And he's like, okay, listen, I know you. I've seen you around. I've spoken to you. Like, you seem like a good kid. I can't wrap my head around how you always seem to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. And then he proceeds to go on some long rant about, like, my brother, because my brother's a bit of a troublemaker. And basically the whole thing that he was getting at is, like, I've had to deal with your brother, and now I got to deal with you. And, like, you guys are different. Like, I know you're not a troublemaker. You're not trying to make trouble. I just don't understand how you keep ending up in these situations. Like, I don't want to make this a bigger thing than it is. And he landed on that, and my dumbass decided to say, like, so, like, I'm good to go? Like, am I, like, off the hook? And he's like, no, you're not off the hook. Like, whatever level of involvement you had, you were still part of a situation where I had two borderline naked people running through the hallways of this school. And I'm like, okay, yeah, fair enough. And he's like, look, like, yeah, I need you to tell me who that was, like, who did that. Like, it was a whole thing, and it was disruptive and obviously a problem, and, like, I need you to tell me who that was. And I told him, like, honestly, like, I don't know them very well. Like, I've seen them around. Like, I don't even know their names. Like, I don't know. And he's like, he kind of, like, sighs and, like, puts his face in his hand, and he's like, look, I'm gonna give you the weekend, and I don't want to make this a bigger thing. I know you. I know you're a good kid. I don't think you're part of some big problem here, but I need to know who that was, and I'm going to be seeing you on Monday, and you need to tell me who that was, or else this is going to be a big problem. You're dismissed, but I want you to really think about this if you're trying to cover for people. So I leave, and it was basically like the end of the school day at that point. So I leave, and the rest of the day is like kind of awkward because everyone like knows what happened, including like the teachers. My involvement in it is like not really known to anyone, but like it's all everyone's talking about. The teachers are like trying to keep people in check, but even they're like, oh, like what the fuck was that? So yeah, it's kind of an awkward day, and I finish school, I go home, and I'm kind of just like grappling with it. I'm like, yeah, I don't really want to like get in trouble for people, but also like they're paying me money to do this, and I don't know, like I'm sure it won't be that bad. Like I'm sure, like I don't think I'll have like that bad of consequences for it. Like I'm getting paid for it. It's also like not really cool to like rat on people. Like if they want to do their thing, do their thing. Like, and in a way, like I wasn't really part of it. Like I helped them film in the computer lab, and sure, that's on me. But like anything they did after that, that's all on them. I was not part of that at all. Anyways, as fate would have it, I never ended up having to like come to an actual decision of whether I was going to rat on them or not, because that was when school got locked down for the pandemic. So I didn't actually have to go back, and the whole thing kind of like quietly disappeared, which is cool. So that's fun. I never really saw those girls again. I didn't have any way to contact them, and I never like filmed another TikTok for them, nor would I have. I actually don't know if I would have. Probably not. Anyways, so the reason I decided to tell this story today, as you probably figured out, is just because it kind of fascinates me how, especially with content creators, like I myself, like sure, I do like the risque thumbnails. Of course I do that, but I know there's a lot of like female creators on all sorts of platforms who maybe don't even like want to do like more, X-rated, I shouldn't say X-rated, but like more NSFW type things, but almost feel forced to just because it's like the thing that is going to get the views or go viral, and like, oh, maybe I can just do it for a bit and then like go back to whatever like I want to do after I'm actually big. And it's just really interesting to look at. It's honestly like a little sad, and I know that's like super rich coming from me, and like especially like I want to bring up the thumbnails. Like I'm fully aware of what that's doing there, but it's just an interesting topic, I think, and it's definitely something that makes you think. That's kind of all I have on the subject. No, it's not really like insightful, and it's more of a story than anything else. But hope you guys enjoyed the story. So if you did, leave a like, comment. all the standard YouTube shit. Thank you guys as always for watching. It really does mean the world to me, even to just see one person watch or engage with my video. It's really cool to see people enjoy things I made. So thank you if anyone is here, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Take care. Later.